So in Infinity Blade universe, one of the main characters in Infinity Blade is the Infinity Blade itself. And we had this idea that we wanted there to be this world full of immortals. These immortal beings that had found a way to cheat death. And that ultimately over time, one or some of these Deathless decided that they wanted to find a way to kill each other because, you know, what good is it having all of these immortal beings if you can't rule them and subjugate them? And what better to do that than a weapon that could destroy them forever? And that's kind of where we came up with the idea of the Infinity Blade. Some of the history surrounding that is the Deathless who created the Infinity Blade, the worker of secrets. We really wanted to find a way to blend fantasy with science and science fiction. And we thought it'd be cool to have this sword that represented this weapon, this ultimate weapon that could actually kill an immortal being. And in our early designs, we kept thinking, how can we create a sword that looks like a fusion of technology and more medieval fantasy? And so we came up with this idea of the Infinity Ring. And the idea being that when the Worker of Secrets created the technology to kill a Deathless, it wasn't actually the sword itself, it was this ring, this QIP destabilization ring. In our mythology, we have this idea of the quantum identity pattern, the QIP, and it's similar to, it's kind of like your spiritual DNA, it's your soul. And the worker created this QIP destabilization ring. And what that does is when it can be attuned with someone's QIP in our made-up mythology, it can for a few seconds destabilize and scramble that QIP. And it happened fast enough that the worker, in order to actually kill one of these immortal beings, you had to attach that destabilization ring to a sword. So that as the person that the sword is stabbing is being destabilized, it actually kills them while they're being destabilized, and that is what actually kills one of these immortals. So you might have noticed that the Infinity Blade looks kind of different between Infinity Blade 2 and Infinity Blade 3. And that's because the Worker of Secrets has recreated the Infinity Blade in the third game. And that's because once he was freed from the Vault of Tears and realized that the Infinity Blade was active and could actually kill Deathless, he realized that he needed to replicate his invention. And he had to take what he had done and use all of those charged QIP destabilization rings to forge new Infinity weapons. And so he took the original Infinity Blade and duplicated it. And he did this so that he could sow discord, dissension, and confusion among the Deathless. He thinks that if he can arm different Deathless with Infinity weapons and kind of let them loose in the world, that it will distract Cyrus and Issa long enough from figuring out what he's really up to. So for people playing the game, you've seen that there are now 6 possible Infinity weapons out there, and that currently there's 4 available in the game. And as we continue to expand the game, more Infinity weapons will become available. And for all of you really astute players, you'll see that, you know, while the worker made 6 new Infinity weapons, he still has that original Infinity Blade that he took from Raidriar when he killed him. I wonder where that thing is.